Here we go. This is it, episode 564, No Laugh Track podcast here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. My name is Justin Severson. I get to host this each and every week, most times with one guest, sometimes with two guests, sometimes with multiple time guests, sometimes first timers. We got a little combo of that today.
Oh, yeah.
We got Adam Ray, who has been here. I think this is 4 No Laugh Tracks now.
Is it?
I believe so.
That's great. I was trying to figure out how many times I've been here at the club. I think it's maybe, if you count the COVID weekend, probably 4 or 5.
Yeah.
But we don't count it. It was real. It was real. Come on. We took care of it. We got everybody a Jamba Juice coupon.
Now, for people only listening, that
Yeah.
sounds like I have 3 guests now, but that was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
one
Yeah.
doing multiple voices. The other person, of course, is Rudy Pavich,
Yeah.
who
Hey,
has
buddy.
never been on this podcast.
First time.
First timer.
I
Thank
have
you.
known Rudy for, I don't know, 15 years maybe? I
Yeah,
don't know the exact timeline, going back to radio days.
It's been 17 years, 4 months, and 8 days, but only one of us
First
is.
booking, and it took you some time.
Well, neither of us are in the that business anymore, for
Yeah.
one thing.
The radio
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
You got out.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
But served its purpose, right? You got what
Absolutely.
you needed.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, no, nobody believes any of you guys right now. But
No,
that's fine,
no,
yeah.
no, no, it's
I
fine.
loved it, dude. It
It's
was
great.
No, you get. I think radio. It's. I feel like it's almost like if podcasting had started earlier, you would have maybe done that, right? So it's like radio really set you up for this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I've also noticed a lot of the podcasts that are ran like radio shows. Those are typically the ones I am drawn to the most. Yeah,
Yeah, I think so
for
too.
sure. Yeah, I like having something that is structured, that has a break, that has news, that has stuff like that. Obviously, the one-offs are great, and one-on-one long-form interviews are amazing. Absolutely, but I don't know. I like having. Hey man, we're going to start out with like a topic, and then we're going to move to news, and then here's sports or whatever it is.
yeah.
I don't know. I
Wrap it
guess
up, Rudy.
it's-
You're the guest, and you're talking too much already.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
sorry.
Go
You're
ahead.
totally right.
Yeah, go ahead.
No. Let me just do another 47 minutes about why I love radio and how much I hate
Too
it.
early for the weather. We will get to
Yeah.
that weather and traffic in about 10
Yeah.
minutes.
Wow.
So hold off on that.
I was
Good
actually
weather traffic voice.
I was actually ramping songs on the way here. Dude, you would have been a great ramper.
What's that?
When you're talking up a song, you like the intro to a song?
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the instrumental. We talk
Oh, so
about
it's
this.
it's like calling right now 421-1115 with the phrase that pays. We got John Mayer playing the Palladium tonight, but in the meanwhile, here's Bare Naked Ladies with 1 week. Yeah, 1 week to call for John Mayer tickets. 1 week. Right, that's it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
been,
yeah.
And then as soon as you stop talking,
Yeah.
it's been bunding, ding,
Yeah.
I was always so impressed by those guys because the timing was perfect. And
Yeah.
then every now and then you'd hear a guy, and the song would step on just a little bit of his sentence, and you were like, fire him.
Yeah, get him out of there. Yeah.
But the timing is pretty unreal. And you could always sometimes hear when a guy would stretch out, you could tell he was like, he knew the song was coming, but maybe he miscued when it was actually, so he had to stretch out. He's like, calling right now for John Mayer, but now it's Bare Naked Ladies with 1 week.
We.
And you're like, all right, you got up a little too quick.
Yep.
Yeah.
You mentioned the call letters a few times. Here we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just going to fill in just
We
a
had
little bit.
KPLZ was the hit. Well, Cube 93 was the rap station. And then we had KPLZ, which turned into Star 101.5, which plays, it's, kind of like the LA Star, where it's they play it's, I guess, 70s, 80s, 90s, hits of yesterday, today, and tomorrow, right? But a lot of, but more current stuff, all the big hits.
Sure.
Sugar Ray, when he was on top of the world,
Yeah.
he was being played every 3 songs.
Now you can go to any county fair in America and find that band playing, and that's
See,
what I love
right,
about.
yeah.
I love them. I love them.
Quick
I think they're
Sugar Ray
great.
story, and then we'll get into some comedy. I saw them when they were on top of the world, when Fly had just come out, and they had not released, I think, their follow-up album yet. This was 1998. It was Bumbershoot, which is Seattle's like Bonnaroo. It's now gotten a little commercialized, and it's not as big to where they don't. I mean, in its early days, from 98 to probably 2000, even like 10, bangers. I mean, it was Coachella-esque.
Sure.
And just took over downtown Seattle. Then they had comedy there, and I used to go there all the time as a kid, and did a few of the comedy things a few times, which was like a real like. I still put that in a, once you get to a point where you've done a handful of cool things, you kind of, things just have different meanings. But like Bumbershoot was such a big deal for me as a kid, so to do like. My own comedy show there on one of the festival things was like really cool because even though the festival kind of lost some of its flavor, it was still like
Hell yeah.
a reason to go up for it and hang. And my friends that came through that we went to see Third Eye Blind and Sugar Ray on that 98 show. And Sugar Ray's playing probably 4 songs and people just start booing. Everyone's just booing. And it was a pretty big like arena. like side arena, probably 5,000-10,000 people, and they're just booing, and then he just stops mid-song and goes, hey, look, we have other songs. And everyone's like, boo, boo. And he goes, guys, come on, boo. It's like, and almost like laughing. He's kind of laughing, and then he just goes, fuck it, hit it. Boom, diddle-in, diddle-in. And everyone goes, ah. And then they got off stage. He goes, that's it, though, right? And everyone was like, ah. And that was it. So it was like a 20-minute set.
That reminds me of being at a show once locally many years ago, and it was the opening act, and the guy, lead singer's like, yeah, I got one song left. And somebody goes, boo! And he's like, wait, are you booing because you want us to be done or because you're glad we're going to be done? And the guy's, you fucking suck!
Yeah, okay, so yeah.
I took the girlfriend to go see Limp Bizkit the other weekend. I'm telling you, Corey Feldman opened. Dude, that was worth every goddamn penny of going to see it.
I would pay, I think, to go see Corey Feldman.
Yeah.
Adam, you're meeting everybody these days. You haven't crossed paths with Corey Feldman yet?
I actually should. I have a few people that know him pretty well. I should actually try to get him on a Phil show.
Oh my God.
That's actually a wild. Norm, will you write that down? Book Corey Feldman. Book Donatello.
He would have. Oh my God, the amount of topics would be endless with
Oh.
Dr. Phil.
I just
that's
watched
his
the.
band?
No,
Donatello.
no, I'm saying the things to talk about with Corey. His fucking history.
They just
Oh,
put
yeah.
the topics
Oh
on the
no,
top.
Yeah.
I'm saying like the dude's childhood, the acting, the fucking.
He seems like he'd be a fun interview.
Yes. Oh my God.
Wow.
Oh, that would be great.
Wow.
Do you remember when he did the reality show with the other Corey?
Yes.
Corey Haim?
yeah.
Whatever
Yep.
it was. They did that reality show, and Feldman's wife was, of the three of them, she was super put together. And I'm like, how did this woman get mixed up with these two?
Wow.
And then as soon as the other Corey died, she was like, I'm sorry, there's no way I can keep. And then she just
Wow.
split.
Yep.
At the worst time in his life, she was like, I'm sorry, this is a train wreck.
I'm not the only one that watched that show.
It was great. I loved it. I thought
I'm
it was
amazed.
great.
So bummed out. There were
License-
people that knew that was a show, right? I mean, dude, there's no shame in having any. Everybody has a guilty pleasure reality TV show. My dad is, I think, 80. Naked and Afraid. He's seen every episode 15 times. And is that because there's free boobs and butts? Probably. But he also just is wildly in awe of people just, no fear, just running out into the wild and like there's drama. Like he doesn't just call me and go, there's some big fat tits bouncing around on season 5. It's more of like, dude, this couple broke up mid-show because they couldn't fucking figure it out together. Do you know? Like, It's breaking apart marriages. Also, dude, like you're out there, like you're freezing. The guy's like, babe, we gotta eat berries, and she's like, they're poisonous. He's like you fucking know.
Yeah.
I'm paraphrasing, but like then they, then all of a sudden it's just, kids gotta find a new home.
They've done celebrity versions of that. Would you ever do something like that for a week, 7 days, 10 days?
No, and no. I mean, I want to. And I just was asking my agent that does all this stuff. I'm like, dude, I want to be on fucking. And I know where I'm at, but like, when I see Funches and Nikki Glazer making the rounds on every cooking show, Celebrity Jeopardy, it's like, yeah, I mean, it's however they look at you to be worthy to be on that. But I want to do all the fucking. Like To Tell the Truth on ABC, but like celebrity game shows, I want to do all of them, and I don't care if you fucking pay me or not.
There you go.
Yeah, but
It's
those
out
type-
there.
Yeah.
Dancing with the Stars and those types of things, no, because that just doesn't. It just doesn't speak to me. But like the game show stuff and even the cooking ones, not so much, because you still want opportunities to be silly. The game show stuff, I guess, not as much because it's more gameplay. It
Sure.
would be really the reason to do it. But Naked and Afraid, I don't know. No, I would. I go on as a character. I did that. It's so funny that how many characters I'm doing now. I went on Blind Date twice with a wig. Remember the show Blind Date?
Yeah.
Roger Lodge. And they had the
Yes,
thought bubbles
Raj
pop up.
Lodge.
Oh, my
So
God.
I'm in junior year of college, and I was. They had. I think somebody came to our college to like sign people up for it if they wanted to go on the show.
Sure.
And so I did, and I went in and did the whole interview. But then I kind of heightened up where I was like, "Sup, dude? My name's," because they wouldn't let me put in fake info. They did background check on you. So I was like, all right, let me just like heighten myself up a little. And they matched me to this really blonde ditzy girl from Chico State, which is up in Northern California. Real piece of work. And sweetheart, she drank a little bit too much. Think she has a kid, and so which is fine. You can drink with kids, but she fucking she's
On the date?
She's the kid was not there, no. But she was a mess, but a fun mess. And actually, there was a moment on the show where it was featured on E's 101 dating fails when they did those.
No
And
shit.
there was a moment where we're in a bar, and she wanted to take. They go, let's put you in a park, and you'll give her a Hebrew lesson because you're a Jew and she's not. I was like, there's probably a better way for you to say that. And then they were like, we drank Manischewitz wine in the park, and she never drank it. And then we went to dinner, and she wanted to do like body shots. So then we drank tequila on top of the Manischewitz, and she was fucking hammered. And I brought a Batman suit because in my eyes at one point I was like, I want to get to the hot tub portion. And in my head I'm like, there'll be a wide shot of me in a Batman suit and her in her bathing suit. And then all of a sudden they'll cut in on me and I'll just go, bathing suit. Bring a bathing suit. Not a Batman suit.
Oh,
I was
funny.
so stupid. And not only did I think that through, but I'm like, I'll pitch this to them and they'll definitely go for it. And like, as if I was going to be back to them, be like, and then just have it be a wide and then cut to me and then I'll snap my fingers. So I go to Universal Studios once I realize I'm like, I'm not going on to find love. Even if I wanted to do it, I don't judge people doing it this way, but I don't want to do it. I want to do it as a goof. I want to be on TV and do something silly that I can go home to Seattle and show my college buddies over the holiday break.
Yeah.
And so I go to Universal Studios and I buy this like Gilligan's Island hat with like long hair that comes out of it and wear that wig. And I show up and no one knows any different. I walk in, the producers, hey Adam, how you doing? You know, no one remembers back to me. Big spiky Jufro, so I'm just like, whoa, dude, I'm gonna fucking be able to pull this off. So the whole thing I'm doing it, I'm being a little like stonery, whatever. Just no one remembers my audition tape at all. And so halfway through, I go to the producer and I go, hey man, this isn't actually my hair, it's a wig. And he goes, I fucking love that, dude. That's amazing. He's like, you gotta fucking take it off at one point and reveal. She's gonna go nuts. Unbeknownst to me, they give her scissors, and halfway through she goes, I hate your fucking hair. Just pulls out scissors in the van. I go, what the fuck? She goes, let me cut your hair. I'm like, ha! And the producer, I just like see him, he was like this, and I was like, dude. And so I pulled the wig off, and she was like, what the fuck? And then she ended up getting so drunk, and then they had to drop her off. And I remember I get out of the van, I go, all right. I go, I'll see you later. I go, this was fun. And I tap her knee. I go, take care of yourself. And she's like passed out, and she goes like this. And they added a gun sound effect when she like, did the finger.
No way!
It's so funny. And then they cut to me, and I go, I'd definitely go on another date with her. I fucking had a great time.
Of course.
But I thought that was so wild. I went to the producer after. He goes, dude, that was a great reveal. I go, you gave a drunk girl scissors, man.
Yeah.
That was a wild call. And he's like, says the guy who wore a wig. And I was like,
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, one of those can't cut your jugular.
Yeah, same level. Same level.
So, not to make this a longer story, I went on again and showed up I went to this wig store on Beverly Boulevard at 8 a.m. Got a wig professional to fit a Antonio Banderas wig. They picked me up in a limo. I'm in character with sunglasses on with this limo, and the guy's like, so you excited to find love, man? I go, oh, you know, I got to do whatever I can to find a bitch in this city, man. And I was like, who I was going to be. And he was like, I feel that, man. And then he drops me off, and I get out, same producer, and he goes, and he's on the phone, and I just hear him go, it's Adam, the wig guy. Yeah, he's doing it again. And then they made me take the wig off and just be me. But I got shit-faced, and the girl didn't drink and was a total prude. And I think it's on my YouTube.
Yeah.
I should repost this.
I was going to say, because one of those, I don't remember the gunshot thing,
Yeah.
but one of those you sent me like
To cut a
4
clip
years
of.
ago to cut a
Yeah,
clip
yeah,
of.
yeah,
And I remember watching it, and I was like, oh, it was so bad. I'm like, you must have written this. This was a bit that you
yeah.
put together
That
with
was
another
a blind
actress in
date
town.
with Roger
No,
Lodge.
Yeah.
and it was,
I never
man.
missed that stupid show.
Yeah.
I watch it every night when that dumb thing
Isn't
is
it
on.
wild? And it's like,
Yeah.
it was just edgy enough, too. I mean, I guess they're still now with, like, Fuckboy Island and stuff like that. But those shows had a comedic...
Yeah.
Like, the Thought Bubble stuff was so funny.
They were good.
Yeah.
The Thought Bubble stuff was funny.
And they let them get pretty frisky as far as, like, in the hot tub, like... And then they're always like, they go to the door, and sometimes the camera guy would stand outside the door for at least a couple seconds to catch a little bit of audio, you know?
Yeah.
You knew what was happening.
When
there
they
must
used...
be there must be a channel that's dedicated to that. You know, there's a million channels.
There's
There's
like
a
the
fucking
Game Show
Family
Network.
Feud channel. There's
Yeah,
an
yeah.
everything channel.
Nick
That,
at Night should pull up some of that content.
it must be somewhere.
There was a channel in Wisconsin on Sunday nights that would do like a marathon of Blind Date and then back it up with Cheaters on the backside, like 2 episodes of Cheaters, and you're like, oh, that was the best night of television ever.
Cheaters was unreal.
Didn't
Yeah.
they end that show because someone got killed
No, the guy who
Something
hosted
like
got
that?
stabbed
by
by one of the guys. Yeah, I think it was a box cutter. They pulled that thing out, and the guy was like,
They're gonna cut his hair with scissors.
It was they were on a
Producer
boat.
gave the guy the box cutter. He's like, dude, I saw this on Blind Date once.
Exactly. Hey, we need to talk about last night. The show was fucking fantastic
Thanks for
here at
coming.
Acme. Of course. I always try to make it to see people if I'm going to talk to them, or even if I'm not.
Yeah.
When I'm a fan, I try to come as well. So it was great. The first thing I noticed when I walked in last night was I have never seen so much merch by the door.
Oh,
That
really?
was like going to a Pearl Jam show.
Oh
Adam.
wow,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Wow.
So my best bud and life helper Norm is been on that. We ramped up the film merch because it started to sell.
Oh,
And
I could
it's-
see why. I
And
mean-
we just started to bring a lot more on the road, and we bring I think a little bit more now, but then we just send it back and it's fine. But the last 3 cities we've cleaned out.
I'm confident you're going to again.
Yeah. And it's really, we'll pepper in some Adam Ray stuff, but like once we had kind of a cartoon Phil thing at first because it was still kind of in that dicey period of like waiting for a cease and desist, but then it was like, oh, it's a cartoon of me dressed like that, so that's fine. And people started buying those up pretty quick. So then it was like, oh, let's up the quality and change the design. And my wife was like, she always liked these. She had a shirt from the Chive once that I think was like just a silhouette of Bill Murray, and she's like, she's like, just simplify it, just have a really cool thing, and then have one of the quotes on the back, and people would just love it, So now, so having more is the move. But yeah, I mean, the last few times I've been here, it's either been no merch or a little bit that I take all home with me or give out because nobody wanted it.
This morning, I have a 5-year-old at home, and my mother-in-law comes over to watch. When first thing she shows up, my wife is like, "Look at the shirt I got last night." She's like, "It is bringing me so much joy." The shirt we bought a shirt last night.
No way.
Yes
nice.
way.
By the way, you should have just. If you want to take another anything, take it. Would your 5-year-old want a hoodie? Maybe not with the double fingers.
Yeah.
That's possible.
Okay. Yeah. It's sweet, dude.
No, we bought one. We went
so
home with one.
because she's watched some of the Phil stuff, or just
yes.
Oh, cool.
So that was the other thing is that
I probably haven't been here since any of that started, right?
correct. So I want to tell you. So of course I listened back to the last time we did this. It was January of last year.
Wow.
Yes, and one of the things you said is that you had been somebody asked you like, when are you going to start doing bigger venues? Last year here, when are you going to start doing bigger venues?
Oh,
and
yeah.
You said when I start selling out before I get to town, then it's probably a step up where you move up. And
Right.
look what happened this week.
Yeah.
You've sold out everything before you got
Yeah,
here.
yeah, pretty cool.
Congratulations
Oh,
on
thanks,
that,
man.
man.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Way cooler. Nothing's changed. Just more people coming out, and it just it does make the show way more fun. I mean, Rudy's been on I think all these shows that when I've been here, at least most of them, and yeah, I mean, they're never not been a fun show here because it's club rules, and I feel like I'm always energy wise and fun wise. It's always I feel like walking out giving a good show. But when people are here and they're jazzed to see you. And it feels like a lot right now for the first time for a lot of people, or people that saw me here last time. There was a family that saw me here a couple years ago, but you could tell there was a different sense of like people standing up when you first come out because they're pumped to just be here. When that energy's
So
there,
cool.
It does make the show more fun. And not that I truly feel confident saying this, I'm not giving more because of that. I feel like I've always been consistent in like. And that's another thing why being consistent is such an imperative part of what we do, because it's like when you do get an opportunity to have more people or a little bit of a bump for whatever, you don't feel like you have to, like the first weekend, I've now maybe sold out, I don't know, the last 10 weekends on the road, and it started maybe February, and that was the first one where it happened before I got there, and I definitely did have a little bit of a moment of like, just anxiety about it of like, oh, fuck, there's added pressure now. And then I was like, no, there's not. Mm-hmm. You've been doing this for 17 years when it's sometimes, maybe there's 1 out of 5 that sold out, or maybe there's none, but you still. And so as soon as I got up there, I felt a little bit of like, whoa, because they were pumped. And then as soon as I got some laughs and did some crowd work or whatever, I settled in, and then it was like, nothing's different, but that's only a shared mindset because of, being consistent, so that when something like that happens, the only thing that's changed is more people and maybe their enthusiasm. But and then how you deal with that, so that it's, you don't want to be dismissive, but also don't want to stand there and go,
Yeah.
more,
That's right.
because even at the end when I was
This is
saying,
my toy.
yeah. But no, it's awesome because I love this room so much. So
My wife and I were sat next to some strangers.
Yeah.
That's how it is at the comedy club, right? And 10 out of 10 shows, I'm not starting a conversation with the stranger next to me.
Yeah.
But last night, the
cool.
dude next to me was like, are you pretty pumped? He was so excited
Whoa,
to talk to me
cool.
about seeing the show. Wanted to tell me about how many times he's seen you, about how long he's been a fan.
Wow.
He's coming back again tonight.
Wow.
Different group of his friends.
wow, cool,
So that is the status you're at right now. It's multiple shows back to back. Congrats.
pretty
man.
cool, man.
Awesome.
And I will say this. Oh, go ahead, Rude.
No, I was going to say, I think I may have texted you right after maybe the second or third time you did Phil on Kill Tony. I think I texted you this. I was getting I was getting my hair cut. And that's when I knew like Phil was really taking off, because I was getting my hair cut. And there's that moment where you're talking with the stylist, and then all of a sudden he just stops talking. You guys are just kind of in your own heads.
Yeah.
And the guy's cutting my hair, and he starts to giggle. And I look up and we kind of lock eyes. He goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, man. I was just thinking about this thing I saw on the internet the other day. There's this guy who's doing Dr. Phil right now." And I was like, "Oh no, tell me more."
Oh,
and he's like,
that's
and then he was
so
like, "Oh,
sounds funny."
And he just kept going. He's like,
Hack.
And then he's doing the impression of you doing the impression. And then
Oh,
and in my head
God.
it was like, "Oh, this is where it's starting to take off. When people are just the guy didn't know I was a comic. Didn't know I knew Adam. Was just it was in his head. So like that's where you really knew it was starting to crest. So
That's
fucking
cool,
A,
man.
yeah.
Yeah, and what's extra cool too, especially doing shows here, is I've known Rudy now for how many years? Six.
Yeah.
And when I really started to kind of ramp up my social game is when I met Rudy, when he was hit me up on the way to the shows and was like, if you need somebody to tape your shows. And then we started talking. He's like, if you need help with clips. And I was like, yes, I do. And then he started doing all my clips and extra shit, and then started helping me produce About Last Night, my podcast. And then he got so in and good at that then I was able to introduce him to Adam Carolla and Dana Carvey and other people. And then he was able to get all this work from that. And I think it's, helped. And always a funny dude on stage and super nice off. And so now getting to, have a cool weekend like this with somebody and him getting to feature I think first time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is extra cool. It makes the whole weekend extra. Anything you do that is a little milestone or anything is always way cooler when you can add some extra levels of specialness to it.
Hang on, per our contract. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, use the top lip. I don't like that big bottom Pavich lip. Always gets in the way.
You don't mind the beard?
We'll be right back. Do I mind the beard? Wow, I did. Oh, go ahead.
No, I told the story last night on stage.
What?
About how much I appreciate you.
That's sweet.
And how much, because I'm telling you, man, it was the darkest place I've ever been in my life. And then I literally emailed you. And from that moment on, 6 years ago, my life has drastically changed.
Wow.
And fucking A, man. So if this is a lesson to anybody, hitch your wagon to somebody whose rocket is going to the moon. Don't fucking hang out with your dipshit buddies. Get yourself to somebody who can introduce you to people that makes your goddamn star rise.
That are your heroes.
So,
That's also what's wild is I didn't even know he was such a massive Carolla fan where I was just like, did you ask me to introduce you or did I? No, I didn't. Because I was like, they asked me, who does your shit? And I was like, oh, I'll give him. And then, again, unbeknownst to me, he's like, that's like my, the guy I would be gay for. Yeah.
Yeah. It happened here because you were like, oh, tell those guys I say hi. It was at Acme when Carolla was here.
Yeah. Week here.
And
that's
fuck,
right.
man. Yeah. It was wild. So
that's
right.
No,
No, man. That's why it's so nice to watch good people just have so much great success because getting back to the merch thing, I remember when you would come with a box. And then you'd get shit-faced and then give out most of it anyways.
Yeah, give it out. And I still do that. I mean, Norm can attest. The amount of people, there was a kid last night that said this was his girlfriend bought this show for the birthday present. I have a rule because, I always do the meet and greet, even before there was a couple hundred people after the show wanting to stick around. I do it for, if you guys papered the room, I'd wait for 50, 60, maybe 80, sometimes maybe just 10. But I always do it. So again, another consistent thing where when people come out and they're like, dude, thanks for sticking around. I'm like, I've always been doing this. So that's why the muscle has just been, and I really appreciate it now because there are people who, some couple drove 7 hours from Canada. And so I gave them hoodies because they're like, this is as close as you were going to be to us. Or, the guy who was at the end of the line, it was his birthday present. It was yesterday. And so wife bought the tickets right when they went on sale. So gave him something. And then sometimes I just get heartstrings pulled at where a kid in New Jersey about a month and a half ago was like, my mom has, got stage 4 liver cancer. She's got like 3 months to live. The only thing that's made her happy is we watch your Phil specials together. And it's like such a thing that's brought us. And he just starts fucking bawling. Then I start bawling. And then I fucking was like, take whatever you want, But yeah.
That's going to catch on now,
Oh, it already has. Yeah, I already can tell. I make videos too for people in line. So many people last night, dude, my buddy wanted to be here, but he's got a kid and whatever. You make a Phil video for him or a Biden thing. And I did that. We were just in Columbus, and this room holds about maybe, I think, 370, the Funny Bone out there. And a lot of people wait. It was probably a almost 2-hour meet and greet after each show because I also don't rush people along. So, and some people just talk longer, and you try to find that balance. And some people come up and they're like, "Oh, we don't want to take much of your time." I'm like, "Dude, you waited. Everyone's waiting. This is what it is." And at some point, it might get to too much. I got to feel it out. But it is another reason for me to though, like, take care of myself so that I'm not exhausted for that or vocally strained from it. But there was, one of the shows, it was literally like got done with the line, got back in, and then it was like, we just lit them. And then like, I'm going back up. So like, that was kind of wild. But,
Wow.
But with those people, there was a lot of videos and one guy had me do, he's like, he wanted me to make like 3 videos. And I was like, bro, I love it. I'll do a couple. And then he had one of his friends in line do the video for him later. He's like, can you make a video for me? It's for whatever. I go, wasn't that guy's friend?
Jesus,
he's like, yeah, he just
man.
wanted to get, and but you just, I don't know, man. It's.
You told me your name was Steve. Why is this for Chris? What the
You
fuck,
wearing a
man?
fake Mr. Potato Head mustache and glasses?
What's
Yeah.
this wig with part of it cut off? Were you on blind date, son of a bitch?
Yeah. But yeah, the bringing a Phil show here would be cool. That's the thing too about like bigger venues is like we're doing this Phil tour now.
Yes.
In some of these big theaters
With
and
no Twin Cities date as of now.
we just added only 8 as of now, but we'll see how those go. I can't see how we won't do more because bro, it's wild. I just got these like ticket counts for midday. I mean, there's the one in Dallas that's like I think a 1,800 seat theater in March is almost sold out, and it went on sale 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And
Congrats,
then there's it's awesome. The challenge is now finding a way to do the big. Still, it's such an intimate show, right? Like it would crush down here. I think it would be a fucking blast, which is something that's always like in the back of my head. But then what I can't. We're not going to do 5 of them in a row. That's just too much. So it's like one big venue but then bigger venue and then not as intimate, and that's what I love about it. I mean, that's what I love in general. That's why I love this club. Like you just can't replace. I mean, you saw last night. It was like. I'm always doing some crowd work, but never knowing where it's going to come from. And like the first little thing that happened with that kid, remember when I said I was bringing up the Subway, Jared from Subway, and I've never asked like, is anybody's name Jared? Like, do you ever get that? And then that kid was in the back, and he's like, my name's Jared. And I go, does that ever happen where people say your name and then they go, oh, Subway? And he goes, occasionally. Remember that?
Of
And then
course.
I just kind of paused, and nobody laughed at that, which made me even more curious because I was like, that was a weird way to say that word. And then that got a big pop.
Oh,
and
it
that let
was.
me know, like, okay, everybody heard that.
Yeah.
And then that was just like a fun thing to play with and call back to. But I mean, dude, it's just like the pops in this room from stuff off the cuff is like wild.
So I listened back to when we did this last year,
Yeah.
and one of the things that came up was we started talking about doing karaoke, and you were like, I asked him, like, do you ever do karaoke? You were like, oh yeah, 90s songs are my jam.
Yeah.
And you started mentioning, I even took a note here. You go, oh, I do Daughtry, Lionel, Shania. Mm-hmm. Shania, sir. Last night we had a male Shania fan.
Shania fan. Never
we
seen
had
one
one
live.
on stage that didn't self-identify.
Yeah.
Yeah. You.
Yeah. Bro, yeah, I know that was wild. I've never seen a guy in the flesh with a Shania shirt. It also just strikes me as a mostly female-dominated fan base,
Yeah.
but why not? Or guys that go with like I got more into her because of my wife being so about her, and as far as like just getting more of an educated back catalog of who she is and her music, and then being like, oh yeah, she really kind of changed, paved the way for I think country pop stars.
Yeah,
But I don't know. I'm not much of a fan.
You riffing on it that don't impress me much. Could have gone on for 20
Oh,
minutes last night.
I
would've
know
laughed at
the original,
everything.
and I haven't done that joke in quite some time. But I was like, and I hadn't even thought of because one of the guys after was like, he's like, did you just have that locked and loaded? I was like, well, it's an old joke, and I wasn't even planning on doing it. And I didn't even think about it until probably about 5 minutes into chatting with him. To him, I'm like, well, now this needs a bookended moment of like me doing some
perfect.
extra commentary on that, and it also fits perfectly. But yeah, the whole like it doesn't impress. Like, yeah, you could do like 9 more
Oh my
examples of that. But
so good.
yeah.
Yeah, my girlfriend was here last night, and then when we were driving home, she goes, I looked it up. Shania's got a residency in Vegas. I'm
Yeah.
like, fuck, great. There's another $300 I got to goddamn
yeah.
spend now.
yeah,
Thanks.
yeah.
God damn it, guy in the
Sorry.
Shania shirt.
Sorry, free promo.
Yeah.
You got to get Rudy. Yeah, you're moving to Vegas.
Yeah, November 1st, man.
We'll maybe try to get in with that.
Thank you, brother. Yeah.
Big deal.
Does she have an opener that she uses frequently? Maybe.
Whoa, you cold called Adam Ray. Why don't you cold call Shania Twain? I mean, what if she responds? Who knows?
I just go up and do your bit and fucking
Oh my
no,
god, dude!
no.
You can
She's like, "Oh,
please, bro. That is yours. If that's what gets you to open for, that
Here we
is
go.
yours, dude.
Here we go.
You open up for Shania Twain?
Oh.
That don't impress
Oh my
me
god,
much.
yeah, dude. Yeah, it's
You open up
yours.
for Adam Ray?
That's yours.
Don't impress me much.
Yo, she. Yeah, wait. Are you scared to move to Vegas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be there by myself.
Any move, I think, as
Yeah.
an adult.
I asked Chat GPT what they thought. I call them they.
Is 4 inches hard appropriate? Yeah. Sorry. Yes, it is.
Stop lying to me, Chat GPT.
Stop lying.
The answer is yes.
Yeah.
The answer is yes. You will learn that the answer is yes. 4 is enough. The
You
answer is
will
yes.
learn. Wow.
I asked Chat GPT how long is the what's the safest amount of time to visit Las Vegas, and it said 2 to 4 days.
Yeah.
And you're moving
Spot on.
there. Yeah.
Well,
And you're moving
it's
there.
different though because they tell you to visit the Strip in downtown for 2 to 4 days. But living there, you've been off the Strip before, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's more of a city. It's not. It's either one of two things. I either go out there and become the best version of myself, and I learn a different language and get a 6-pack, or I just go Nicolas Cage and fucking drink myself to death.
I don't think you will. I think there's a balance. I think living not on the Strip is healthy.
Yeah.
But it's also like I was just there on Wednesday, and they were talking to security guys, and they were like, "Yeah, we don't live near the Strip," and they're like, "We never come down here." They're like, "We come here to work at the resort, and then we're out."
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, Was there a time? I'm like, yeah, for a little bit, But it's almost like having Disneyland in your backyard. It's like you take it for granted, or you just kind of go. I don't know. It's only so. That's why it is such a tourist destination. But so I think you'll have a healthier life by moving outside. But also, who's to say you can't live in a penthouse in the Bellagio and have all that too?
Yeah. Just sniff
Where's-
my way right through it. Yeah.
Where does Michael Yo live? What's his address? What's his PIN number?
Phone number, yeah.
321.
He lives
First
off the
Avenue.
Strip, right?
Yeah, he lives like way west of downtown. I'm thinking about like south of the Strip because I got to be in Henderson and I got to be in Summerlin, and like south of the Strip is perfect. And it's like on the way to LA.
Yeah.
I'm in LA a lot.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, so you finally got to a point to what you just like. I know enough people there and in LA to be able to at least like start taking advantage of some of these, and not just connections of people, but more spots, more shows, but meeting more people. I mean, I will say this, and then I'll let you answer. You do have to. It's why when people will say to me, "Oh, when are you going to move to Austin? You do kill Tony so much, or whatever." It's like, well, yeah, I love LA. I feed off the energy of it. I also have been there for 20 plus years. I like. Got a lot of homies there. I also I love it, but I really the energy of a place that has, the business going on, and Vegas is not an LA or New York stand-up scene, but there's more of it than there is here. Yeah. So you're already going to be feeding off that because there's going to be more people coming in weekly that hit me up or whoever and go, hey. Does this guy have an opener or whatever? And I hit somebody up, and then now you meet that guy, and then you're into that club, and then it's just you have more opportunities for all that. Mm-hmm. And being 4 to 5 hours away from LA, if you come in for something or fucking I'm doing a show, you want to come through and do this, that's right at your disposal. Versus I got to work that out. Yeah. Versus like I could leave tomorrow and go to LA and do something. Mm-hmm. So you're just putting yourself in a position which is like a big deal, and you shouldn't sleep on that because it is. And you obviously. A move is always scary for a myriad of reasons, but like you're at least now putting yourself in a position to control what you can control and also, have the best shot at it. Because if you're going to do this, you have to fucking there's no replacement for the reps. There's no shortcuts. And you have to at least like, when I first got going and was like sacrificing social life, and so many buddies from college birthday parties, I would like leave, and they're like, "Why?" I was like, "I got to go do this open mic," and they're like, "Dude," and like we fucking never. And I was like, "I know." And then I only started doing that because I didn't do that a few times. And I had a buddy hit me up at the open mic, and he was like, "Where are you?" And I was like, "Oh, I got fucked up with my buddies for their party." And he was like, "All right." And just that, he didn't like call me out on it, but he made me feel bad about it enough to where I was like, and then another friend of mine was like, "Yeah, man, I mean, like, you want to do it or you don't." And I was like, fucking shift right there. And I like either stopped going to those parties or would go for a little bit so you could still be a person. You got to live a life worth writing about, and you can't just be so fucking work oriented. I mean, just take my own advice, but to where you don't have, you're not being a person, But all that to say, Mazel, you're gonna be great. Now you're at least just gonna be in a place where the energy of Vegas is gonna feed you more than I think here. And you've created your own good luck here, obviously. But it is, I think, a imperative thing to be in a city that is fucking moving and shaking.
Yeah.
Why don't you say where you will probably be doing some work? in Vegas?
Yeah, so I'm doing Kimmel's quite a bit right now. I mean, there's times where I literally fly from Minneapolis on a Thursday, fly there, go right to the club, do 2 shows, get back on a plane, and come home and do the red eye just so I can just do the show. And at some point, it was like, I gotta. And then after that, just got booked at Brad Garrett's now, so it's like.
Oh, yeah, getting a rotation. And they use
So-
a lot of, like, I mean, bro, there's going to be so many weeks. I mean, there could be a time where they were just like, can you do back-to-back weeks?
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah, and Vegas is, I don't know, it'd be different if I was 26 and moving out there.
Yeah,
but
dude.
at 44,
No,
it's
you're fine.
it's way different. Did you go right from LA or from Seattle to LA?
Yes.
Was there nothing in between?
No, just, well, because it was college in L.A.
Oh, that's right,
01 to 05.
USC, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
01 to
yeah.
05, and then started stand-up in 2007. And so I did 1 open mic in Seattle before I moved just to feel like I did it. And so I went into college being like, yeah, I do stand-up. And then that gave me enough confidence. But then saying it, people were, oh, shit, we have a coffee house show. Oh, fuck. And then I was like, all right, now I got to do that. And then I put together my senior year, like this big variety show that I should find the tape of. I came out and did I had a whole band, and we had 3 songs that we wrote for the show. And then I did 40 minutes of stand-up in between. And then we had sketches. So 2 of my buddies, Beck Bennett, who was on Saturday Night Live. So he was a junior and I was a senior at SC. And so Beck was in 5 of the sketches on there. We did 1 sketch where I played a cow and Beck was the dad, which he played so many times on SNL. And basically I was I was the son's buddy, or that he brought over, and Beck was just this fucking super like, you shut your fucking mouth, cow, and like we'll cut you up, and like it was a wild sketch. But so doing more of that in college, but only a few times here and there. And then 2007 it was like, all right, now I gotta start because girl and I had split, and then it was like no excuse now, because I think same thing, I kind of had reasons to not jump in fully, and then we split, and it was like now I gotta just go all in. But then starting in LA, you don't think of unless somebody brings it up to you, but you're just like, oh yeah, I'll start doing the open mics here and whatever. But like now when people are like, should I move there, and starting in LA is so tough, and you're like, it is what you make of it. Like I have friends that have moved from Seattle to LA, and I'll be like, it's not as crazy as you think, but it is on you to be active as far as hanging around and putting yourself in a position to meet people. You want to, like, you got to control that part of it. And sometimes, staying at a club late, and if you don't get up, you were there and you saw some people, and maybe so that they invite you to a mic tomorrow. And there's just such that part of it that is very taxing and overwhelming to even think of doing again. But when you're all in and you don't have a plan B to take away from that plan A, you're just like, you're all about it. But I didn't think about LA being a tough scene to start in, because it was the only scene. It was, I wasn't going to move out of there to start somewhere else.
Sure. How are you, how do I ask this? You're so busy right now. Like it's like the pop is enormous. You're so busy. How are you maintaining? Not going nuts.
It's all fun, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we're doing Kill Tony in Vegas on Wednesday, and I did Phil there, and then Harland was the other guest, and that was a lot to be like, all right, do that, and then here, and then back, and then the next few months are pretty wild, but
Looks like it.
But also, like, yeah, man, maintain, like, and I was pretty fucking beat on Wednesday, and I was getting into, like, Phil makeup, and I was like, I've never slept in the makeup chair before. I'm always, adding stuff to the show, or just dealing with other shit for down the line, or texting with Norm by being like, we got to fucking send merch to these cities. We just added these dates. Mm-hmm. And I was so beat that I was fucking, like, gone, and she just, like, let me, and then I was like, oh, man, I got to slow it down a bit.
Yeah.
And then we got up there, and the show was awesome, and the adrenaline and everything. And there's never an option for me to phone it in. So as tired as I was like, I know I'm not going to let this bleed into the show. Yeah. And you kind of pump yourself up. You get out there, there's fucking 5,000 people, and Harlan and I had never done a Kill Tony together before, so that was a blast. But I am getting way more just cognitive of, like, I got to chill. I got to get more rest. I got to not drink as much, pick and choose, right? Last night I very much wanted to have some and chill because it was an early show. But I was like, I got to get some fucking sleep because I want to be able to hang the next few nights.
Yeah.
But also within moderation and not close it down like we have every other time I've been here. Thanks, Brandon. But so just finding pockets like that, and then, making sure that, like, with some of these Phil theater shows, we have like a day in between on some of them, because some of them are like there's 2 in a weekend, and it's a lot. And like, I do Vegas on Sunday, and then one day off, and then another Phil show, and then 2 days, and then Florida, and then Nashville, and then another thing, and then but there's so just making sure those days in between, I'm not packing with more shit, but it's also I've always kept myself busy. So you want to keep yourself busy to get busier, and then it's now good busy, and now it's like we're trying to, there's a. We had this like comedy cooking show thing that we shot a bit ago that we have to edit before the editor goes on a big gig for a while, and editing these Phil shows coming out. Writing all the Phil theater shows is a big, I haven't even started that, so it's like,
man.
But just getting better at I'm organized chaos. I mean, Rudy knows this from working with me. It's like, sometimes I text him at fucking 6 a.m. I'm like, I need a clip in 20 minutes, and he's like, that's impossible. Right. I'm like, do it. And he's like, I got you. And he's the fucking best. But so I'm trying to be more organized. Norm is a fucking godsend. But rest is key. And it always has been. I now am way more understanding of when like Josh Wolf or my mom would always get in my face when they see me running at this pace. And they're like, fucking take care of yourself. And I'm always like, I'm fine. I'm a fucking, not that I feel like I have Bert's machine gene, because I don't, but I just always am able to do it. I've always been able to do it all, Yeah. And I think that's a blessing and a curse, because I've taken on things that I maybe shouldn't have, and done things that I shouldn't have, or fit in a quick little, go to a sport. Like there was even a moment where we were thinking about, I was going to cancel my shit on Sunday and drive to Lambeau to go to the game, but then we would have had to like get up at like 7 a.m. after late night Saturday shows, and that was wild.
That's a lot.
I would have been like, not doing a professional savvy move by canceling on Sunday, but also if we didn't have it, if I didn't have that Sunday, we would be going, and that would be wild because it's unnecessary, and it would probably set me back a few days energy-wise. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's what I've balanced with, because now it's at a point to where I'm like, and Rudy's finding this too, when you fucking through comedy get certain opportunities or meet cool people, and they invite you to do shit, you want to fucking do it just for the sake of like, dude, comedy, like I would never think I can go do that or go on that sideline or whatever, or see that thing. And so just bounce, Yeah. I should probably pick up yoga, maybe meditate. I don't know. That's probably,
one of these years.
One of these years, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
One final thing I have
Yeah.
to, I think you mentioned it on stage last night, 19 million views now and counting on the freaking.
Oh, apparently it's the most watched comedy thing. It surpassed the Brady roast this year. As like the most, like 2.5 billion minutes or something. That's what Tony told me.
So it's the Kill Tony.
It took the Brady roast. Brady roast is gone. Kill Tony, Biden, Trump. The new top comedy thing that's been watched. Oh yeah, baby, we're doing it.
Yeah, dude.
That appearance is as good.
Wild,
as
right?
Anything. Yeah. You and Shane Gillis, Shane doing fucking Trump is amazing.
Thanks, man.
And
cool to talk about it a little bit on stage, right?
Yes,
I don't feel like I'm wasting. Sometimes people just tell stories for the sake of telling stories, but I'm like, there's a lot of jokes in there, but like I told it off the cuff a month or so ago, and people went nuts, and they were so invested in hearing, and I was like, oh yeah, it did come together so fucking fast, and hearing how like Shane and I like barely knew each other, and like so that to me is a cool thing to have a curtain peel reveal on,
I want to say that past appearances on this podcast, you and I have talked about when you met The Rock and did his show and whatnot, and you played a voicemail from him.
Yeah.
And at one point,
we did on the show.
Yes,
oh, wow.
on this podcast.
Oh, wow.
And then at one point, you were like, you know what, this I'm doing this. This is kind of lame, but this is probably the coolest thing that's ever happened to me. At the time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Think about that, man.
Wow, yeah.
At the time, that probably top 5 things.
Life is wild.
Life is wild, man.
Do you
Stay
remember,
in school, kids.
Do you remember the story about when you cut the video for The Rock's Tequila? Do you remember that?
No.
So The Rock was doing like a whole Tuesday. He was just reposting people's videos. And Adam hits me up and goes, I got an idea for a video. I'm going to send you like all the raw stuff. Can you edit it? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So I go and it was literally like we took this idea. It went from a phone call to an edited, like ready to share video in 90 minutes. And it had graphics and all this shit.
Yeah.
And Adam goes, I said, dude, don't worry about paying
Was it me as Phil or me in my hotel in Australia? I think I was in Australia.
Maybe. I can't remember what the video looked like. But what was funny is I told Adam, I said, do me a favor. Don't pay me. Just when you post this, just credit me on Instagram, because if he
I did, right?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
did.
okay.
So you hit me up and he goes, "Oh, I totally put it out." And I'm like, "Fuck yeah!" I'm thinking, "Oh, dude, The Rock's gonna retweet this or whatever, repost it.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, man, my followers are gonna go through the roof." 40 minutes later, Adam calls me. He's like, "Dude, the fucking Rock reposted." I go and I check on Instagram. He copied and pasted everything that you put except for the last line. Credit Rudy Pavich.
My God.
You got I looked at you got 6,000 new followers off that one post. I got no credit. And here's how sweet Adam is. Adam's like, "Let me pay you." And I'm like, "That is not what we said." I said, if you
I did my part.
You did your part. You did. But that son of a bitch, The Rock, I swear to God, I'm going to find that asshole and be like, "You owe me 6,000 followers, motherfucker."
Well,
Yep.
here's your fuck
Son of
you
a
rock
bitch.
cam. So go ahead and look right into there and do something to your career that you shouldn't do. Wow,
You want
that's
to rip your shirt off and
Yeah.
press him on a video?
Wow.
Or?
Yeah. Fuck you, Dwayne.
Oh,
I'm never wearing Under Armour again, you son of a
My
bitch.
God. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was wild. Yeah,
That was
then
so
he
funny.
posted that shit. Yeah, where he's man, he's such a. I mean, I just sent him. I mean, what I was telling you guys off air about one of the Phil shows. I was trying to get him to come on that show, and he's deep into Moana live action right now, but sent me a fucking sweet ass voice note being like,
Again.
"Congrats, that's fucking dope." Like, I want we're I think there's a chance he might be able to slip on one in December in LA. But yeah, man, just a fucking normal. I mean, the first time I ever talked to him, I think we talked about on the show, it was like, I feel like I've been talking to him for 30 years. And there's a reason why people are that, people don't want to, just because he's a big star doesn't mean that all these brands and things and deals happen. You have to be, there's got to be a certain level of genuineness to you.
Clearly.
And he does this stuff because he wants to. When he's driving around, and when people shit on him for posting every good thing he does, it's he wants to do it, and it's also he's putting it out there. And guess what? As he's told me, he goes, sometimes people see these videos, and then people hit him up to do other charity things because they see that he's doing that, or he's doing an appearance here. Would you come do an appearance here? And yeah, man, it's I don't know, dude. It's a lot of responsibility when you have that much attention on you, and there's a lot of people who don't do any of that, dude.
True.
True,
very true.
So,
Very true.
like Rudy, he just complains about how they don't give him love instead of, being your own version of The Rock and helping some other kid out.
That's
But that was a wild story. We got that up quick, dude.
very cool. All right, we got to put a bow on this thing. Thank you. Thank you for doing this. You have sold out every show. So
Had
it's not
to.
like we're promoting tickets for this weekend.
No, but
They're
it's
gone.
a fun, you're the best.
I
And
appreciate that.
This is always, I mean, and even when I initially was like, man, I think I just got to fucking sleep all day. And then I was like, I fucking love Jay. This, it's always fun. You're so good at this.
Thank you.
Yeah, dude. And also I had a moment where I was like, wow, I've never not done it. And to sell out all 5 shows and then be like, pass is real douchey. So, and then I was like, am I really going to sleep all day? There was a point yesterday where I was like, I think I'm going to sleep all day into what I have to do. So I'm glad we worked it out.
Well,
I really appreciate it.
Anytime, man.
Immensely.
Anytime.
You know why he's so good at this? Because it's 20 years of radio. And let me tell you for the next 30 minutes
That's
why
at Rudy
it is.
Pavich on Threads. He's on Threads, not Twitter. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Rudy, where can people follow you on social media?
At Rudy_Pavich on Instagram, Facebook, at RudyPavichComedy.com. Also doing shows. I'm on the road with Michael Yo right now. And then, yeah, I don't know, man. Just check out the website. It's got a bunch of dates on there. It's got all sorts of shit.
And if you're going to Vegas starting in November,
yeah,
look
so-
for you doing shows.
Yeah, first week in November when I first moved there, I'll be at Brad Garrett's, and then after that, probably 2 to 3 times a week at Kimmel's on
Awesome.
the link. So thanks, man.
Congrats, man.
Thanks,
I'm
dude.
excited to see what happens. with
Thanks,
that.
man.
It's
Good
really
to see
cool.
you.
For sure. And Adam,
Guys.
we're going to come back in a year.
Come back in a year.
Hopefully it's not. Hopefully it's still at Acme and not at a theater. Maybe you could do both. I don't know how that works.
I will never not do this club, but I mean, who knows, man? But a Phil show here first, I think, is the move.
Boom.
You know, but if you want to go to any, but closest to you guys is probably Chicago, Atlanta, Nashville. I know that's not close. Maybe I don't know, fucking make the trip. They're going to be these shows are getting stacked with pretty great guests, and if we can't find a good guest, then we might hit up Rudy. But this will be a great show. The Vegas one, yeah, maybe come up with a bit for the Vegas one. Vegas is January 11th. They're all at AdamRayComedy.com. San Francisco, Dallas, Austin, Nashville, Atlanta. I don't know what else. That's Boston and New York, and then all my tour dates AdamRayComedy.com, and something else that'll come out soon. Oh, there's a live streaming show I'm doing, fully improvised, from Comedy on State in Madison, Wisconsin, October 30th. Tickets at AdamRay.live. And then we're live streaming the Dr. Phil live show in San Diego on December 7th with Tony Hinchcliffe and Adam Devine and special guest, December 7th. Both those at AdamRay.live. The October 30th one's going to be wild. Fully improvised, day before Halloween. My buddy's going to be there to do some improvised musical crowd work. We got special guests. Norm's going to be there. Costumes, prize giveaways, cash, fucking boobs, butts. See you October 30th. AdamRay.live. Thanks, guys.